I thought we'd do like a half-term report. Really, we're just over halfway through the season, and things are going pretty well. We're sitting in second. What are your thoughts so far? What highs and lows, basically.
So, in terms of the start of the season, I don't think we started the way we would have liked to, but there was a bit of bedding in time for players who were new. There wasn't huge amounts, but there were players who'd come in, a little bit of a tweak into our systems and how we played. And it just took a little bit of time to sort of get to where we needed to be. So after those sort of first 5-6 games, we knew we had the strength within the squad to be where we are now, second in the table. But it just took a little bit more time than we thought. So, and I think the players realised that themselves as well. When they've developed their own sort of senior group. Sort of have a good review of what's going on and where things are up to, and we want them to take that ownership as much as possible as well. So I think the turning point then was Tynedale away, a narrow loss 7-5, a few decisions in that game that maybe if we'd taken the other option would have gone our way, we would have ended up with a better result. But I think it was a big learning point, and now we find ourselves on the back of a 9 winning 9 games on the back. So,
Okay. So, what have been the high points then for this sort of last sort of few months? Any key moments in games or key games at all?
I think obviously down at Stourbridge when we went down there with a side which was full of Sale FC players. I'm not taking anything away from any other players involved in the season, but we went down there with a side that I don't think, when people looked at it on paper, would have been expected to win that game, particularly after the mix of results that we'd had earlier on in the season. But that scored some tries on the new pitch down there, which suited us. So I think that was a definite high point, as well as obviously claiming that 4 points back off Sedgley Park on the 23rd at home, and having all the minis and juniors down, all the parents down, the function room opening, the meal on beforehand, after the game, the atmosphere was fantastic. And as a club, from a club perspective, I think that was by far the high point of the season so far.
Yeah. Speaking of that particular day, we managed to get a lot of hype going on around the new signing, Tricky The Mutt.
Oh, yes.
And how did that? I didn't see him before the game. I'm assuming you hadn't seen him before the game.
No.
What was your first impression? Shame we didn't have him in the second row.
I was waiting for somebody's 7 foot tall to come out of the change rooms, but hey, he wasn't far off, was he? Yeah. But I think he went down an absolute storm.
Yeah.
And even seeing the pictures after, and the involvement and for the kids and what that can do as for the club, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think many other clubs would do well to go down the same pathway, because it's only going to bring everything closer together.
It was interesting how many adults stopped in to have a photo op as well. Including players in that as well. And for me, having been with the club a few years now, I think that day was a turning point for the club as a whole, not just for the team, but a huge sort of event that brought everybody together in this one Sale FC sort of philosophy that Scott Bambrick has been driving from the minis and juniors, but we're getting to go all the way through the club. Has that had any impact on the players themselves?
I think so, personally. We're only talking a couple of weeks ago now, but we've had a week off in between times, but really the comments from the players on the day, on the evening, there's a lot of them still around when I walked out of the club. And it certainly felt like a real turning point. I've been involved now 6 seasons at the club, and there was a real feeling around the place that day. And that's the benchmark that we've set for ourselves as a club now. And the efforts of yourself, Scott Bambrick, Jeffo, and people who are pulling all that together behind the scenes, I think is fantastic, and it's only going to push the club in the right direction. Yeah. So, the minis and juniors, that's getting stronger and stronger. The Colts is going to be the first transition from Colts of homegrown players into senior, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, that's what rugby is all about, and bringing these players through the club. And we want to keep them here. You know, that whole one Sale FC mindset, and that's what we're about from the top down, and we definitely want that to be the case. So,
speaking of that one Sale FC, we've got a player who started off in the seconds, is now playing in the firsts on a fairly regular basis. John Blanchard Jr.
Yeah.
Just clarify that.
Yeah.
And how's it been seeing him? Because when I first saw him, he was 9.
Yeah.
Not a lot smaller than he is now, but you know, he was just a kid running around the club, and now it's great to see him play on a weekly basis. You know, how's he embedding in with the senior team?
He's been a true professional, to be honest with you. I know he was involved with Sale Sharks previously with the academy system there. Probably learned a lot from how they dealt with players and how the players conducted themselves there. But from minute one in pre-season, he's kept his head down, trained, just got on with the jobs he's been asked to do, learnt off players around him, and really sort of just embedded himself into the squad as a whole. He's really impressed all the coaches, and he's also earned the respect of a lot of the players around him who were, 10, 12, 13 years his senior.
Yeah.
And he's started one game, I think it is. He's going to get more opportunities without a doubt, and he's getting plenty of game time as well. So I'm really excited about what he's doing and what he's brought to the club. Just that attitude of wanting to succeed and buying into what it's all about. And he's gone from, like I say, 8, 9 years old all the way through the club.
Yeah.
And I can remember sat there watching people when I was 8 or 9 playing on the first team pitch, and that's where you want to be. And when you do it, it's a great feeling. And also for his coaches on years gone by, I would imagine as well. So,
well, speaking of his coach, his original coach, you've played now with both of them. Have you played with?
Well, I'm not. Yes, I have. Yeah, I played a second team game with John.
Yeah. So standard wise, where would you, given that this would probably go straight to Blanny's email, how would you compare the two?
I cannot comment, but let's just say that the younger generation is looking favourable.
Brilliant. Okay, and sort of on a final note, we've got a game away, Sheffield Tigers. We put quite a few points past them when they came to us. Do you expect it to be the same sort of scoreline or more difficult game?
No, I mean, it was surprising the end result in that game. Yeah. I think it's a very difficult place to go and play rugby up on top of the hill there, and we've been up there. And I think we won last season away. The season before we lost. They've got a very dangerous back three and outside backs, and I think as long as we go up there with the same attitude and principles that we've set ourselves and play to our structure, then I'm more than certain that we can come away with a win. But we've got to apply ourselves properly. Like I say, very difficult game up there. First game back after Christmas, and then we have Sheffield away the following week. So 2 very difficult weeks coming up.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
All right.
And I will see you on Saturday.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.